Welcome to the introduction of our documentary about LGBTQ rights. Our reasons for choosing this topic is because we want to bring awareness to the rise in hate towards the LGBTQ community. We started interviewing a range of people around the local area about their opinions on the LGBTQ rights and issues.
What is your definition of the LGBTQ community and how familiar are you with it?
I'm very familiar with it, I'm part of it. And my definition of it is really anyone that doesn't love in the conventional way or doesn't love the expected gender. Or may I add, loves more than one.
Are you a part of the LGBTQ community or do you know anyone that's in it?
I am not part of it personally, but I know a good majority of my friends are included in this community, yes.
Okay.
I know a couple people. I myself, I don't swing that way. I'm not interested in men, but yeah, I do know a couple girls. I do find that a lot more girls are swing towards themselves, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's it. I'm not gay.
How do you think the treatment of the LGBTQ community has changed throughout the years?
Well, I think people are more outspoken in terms of rights and things like that. Obviously, things still need to change, but I feel like people have more of the freedom to actually express themselves and for people to actually be willing to listen and be considerate of what they say and like what they do in terms of it all.
Okay. Are there any changes that should be made so the community is more supported, and if so, what are they and why?
I think people should have a little bit more understanding of how it actually works instead of just, I don't know, just like assuming things.
Okay. Do you think the LGBTQ community is treated right?
In some places, yeah, and some no.
Why is that?
I don't know, people are raised differently.
Well, it depends, because you get like the EDL, they don't like them, but then you get like the people that like them. I suppose you like them, don't you, Alfianis?
I do.
I didn't like that look, Alfie, but I like them. Just do your thing. But I think that it depends. You can change it by being nice.
Why do you think that some of the members of the LGBTQ community are treated differently?
I feel like it stems mostly from like religion and it's just sort of a few people have said like, oh, it's not great, and then there's just people have piggybacked, and it's just become part of we have sort of been ostracised and thought of as abnormal and different, and it's just kept going and going and just got worse and worse.
Well, I think it all depends on who you associate yourself with. Obviously, you're going to have people, especially with like, you know, being like a person of color and things like that, or if you're different from others, you know, you have people who are going to be judgmental and, you know, kind of make you feel like you're an outcast and things like that. But then on the other spectrum, you have tons of people who are actually loving and caring. But I just think it really depends on the people you're surrounded with and, you know, what people, how they educate themselves and what they know in terms of things like this. But obviously there's still things that need to be done, and some people are just arrogant and aren't going to educate themselves or aren't going to care whatever they've learned from their parents or whatever they know. That's that, and it's just going to stay like that, which isn't right, you know, but everyone to themselves, I guess.
How do you think the trans community is going to be treated now due to the rise in political hate?
Ooh, we're getting political. Oof. I think it might get worse, honestly, because there is a lot of hate around the trans community. So I think it's going to get worse in that aspect. Yeah.
I think surgeries are now going to be more difficult for the trans community, and why?
I 100% think that it's going to be more difficult. I feel like there's going to be things in place, more difficult and rigid structures for the things you have to have and be to qualify, and I feel like it's just going to be made a lot more difficult.
Okay.
I guess so, yeah. I guess it's going to become harder because they're not allowed.
Over the course of all the interviews, we learned that the general opinion of the LGBTQ community was positive overall. People wanted to help the LGBTQ community to feel safe and supported, and accepted by everybody around them. We interviewed a member of the trans community for their thoughts and opinion. However, they remained anonymous, but still wanted their opinion to be shared.
That's a long story, except it's not. I'm not sure right now. I guess I'm just kind of scared.
Go for it.
It sucks. It's not nice to be in it, I guess. From my experience personally, your life is just kind of miserable. I'm speaking about gender dysphoria here. Think about like the worst body dysmorphia possible, and everyone has it. Everyone just hates something about themselves. Think about that. Times it by 10, times it by 1,000,000. Because you don't just hate, oh, I hate my nose, I hate my eyes. I hate every little thing about myself, from, you know, the way I look, the way I walk, my voice, the way I cough, the way I sneeze, the way I think. Everything about myself is wrong. And I want to fix it, but I can't.
We found out from our interviewee that actually being in the trans community is worse than it seems, and there needs to be a change in the amount of support given to the trans community. Everything we found out shows that being a member of such a discriminative community can take a great toll on someone, and that being a member of the LGBTQ community instead needs to be more destigmatized and normalized in everyday life.